been a development on Dorgu, I'm hearing, Michael.
Yeah, I think it's going to ramp up now, Mike, because the answer is it simply has to. We do have an update, and it's from our colleagues at Sky in Italy. This afternoon, a meeting was held in Milan over the transfer of Dorgu, representatives from Lecce and Matt Hargreaves, the director of football negotiations at Manchester United. We're just getting this through. The outcome of that meeting is that United currently do not reach their offer more than 25.4 million plus 4.2 million in bonuses in their offer for the left back. Under those conditions, Lecce would prefer not to give him away now, keep him until June, or sell him now but keep him in the squad until the end of the season. That sounds to me like it could become a saga.
So
yeah,
with add-ons, that's 35 million euros. And as we said earlier, if it's 40 million euros, suddenly then Lecce are listening. So, you know, the ball's in your court, Manchester United.
Yeah. What do you make of what's going on with Amorim being so outspoken about his squad? Is he actually saying to the board, get these players out, get me some new ones in, and this is one of the ones I want?
Yeah, I mean, his comments the other day about being the worst squad was maybe a bit harsh, in my opinion.
What was he doing? Who was he talking to?
Potentially, I think it was a message maybe to the board, maybe to the players a little bit. There's always, sometimes with coaches, there's always little hidden messages in what they're trying to get, and maybe trying to get a reaction out of the Man United players. So I don't think he did it in a malicious way. I think he was just more trying to get a reaction. But Dorgu definitely looks a player that would suit into his style, especially in the wing-back type role. He's very quick, he's very dynamic. So with Malaysia not getting any game time and players like that, so I think he could potentially be a good signing for him.
OK. We've done throughout the window. We're going to start with Manchester United. Jamie, developments in the Marcus Rashford story. Tell us.
And as we've done throughout the window, we're going to talk about Marcus Rashford, the gift that keeps on giving. As we revealed last week, his preference is to join Barcelona, but that is complicated. We've already seen with the Dani Olmo saga that they need to create space for his salary with outgoings. They've not formalised any interest yet. Borussia Dortmund, meanwhile, have engaged Manchester United over terms of a loan deal in case they proceed with that move for him. The AC Milan thing looks like it's gone quiet now. AC Milan's focus is on getting Kyle Walker through the door, so it looks as if they've turned their focus away from Marcus Rashford. But I think everything is still on the table, Bridgie, and perhaps even we could see Marcus Rashford stay and try to fight for his place at Old Trafford, even though I think most of us would agree that perhaps the ship has sailed. It's the end of the road for those two parties and they're both going separate ways. I think it's perhaps still on the table.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the key is all options are still on the table, and this could maybe go into the final week of the window. We've got 13 days to go. It's a bit more extended than usual. It's usually January 31st, but it's February the 3rd, everyone. This time, February the 3rd. It's a manic Monday, potentially. And will it be a manic Monday for Marcus Rashford? As Jamie said, you know, there are options. Borussia Dortmund mentioned. Then we said to you last night that Erik ten Hag was linked with the Borussia Dortmund job. Wow, wouldn't that be a story? But another option is actually to stay at Manchester United. Wow, I still can't get over the post-match press conference from Manchester United on Sunday. What Ruben Amorim said about being the worst Manchester United team and squad. Wow, we get it. You know, he does want to make changes. That's absolutely understandable. But I do wonder what the ones that started in that match and who featured, how they feel about it. I'll tell you, didn't feature in that match. That man there.
David, how difficult will it be for United to get Rashford out of the door?
Yeah, it's always difficult in the January window, I think, especially when you've got a big player like Rashford. And obviously it's availability and the need on the other clubs you mentioned, like Barcelona or Dortmund. Obviously he's got big salary and expectations and stuff like that. So it's a shame for Marcus because obviously he's a Man United icon, but I think it looks like the most sensible move for him to part ways if he can this window.
Barcelona, Jamie, I don't get it. I just don't get why a player would want to go there given their financial mess. Why would he want to go there when they can't? They might not be able to pay him.
Horrible place to live, isn't it? Horrible place.
Yeah, but they might not be able to pay him. They might not even be able to register him. Why go there?
Well, I mean, that is the thing, and as David alluded to, he's on a salary of 350 grand a week, and all the indications are there's no chance that Barca can afford that at the moment. But I think it's a lifestyle choice, isn't it? And he's been at Old Trafford since he was a pup, and here's a chance to move to one of the greatest cities in Europe for one of the, if not the biggest club in Europe. Real Madrid fans wouldn't like me for saying that, but you know, imagine doing that at his age and just getting the chance to experience something different, experience La Liga and a city like Barcelona. I think that's the appeal for Marcus Rashford. But you're right, it all comes with that risk that it is a club that is not on the most even financial footing at the moment.
Right, Alejandro Garnacho, Michael, is he going to be in the Premier League for the rest of the season?
Yeah, really interesting one, this, because we know there was tentative interest from Chelsea over a week ago and didn't look likely at any point. But interest from clubs haven't gone away. And this time the club is Antonio Conte's Napoli, who are expected to accelerate their interest in Garnacho. With head coach, we know him very well, Antonio Conte, driving the deal. The initial approach was just shy of £40 million, which was knocked back. But they're under the impression, I love this, they're under the impression that Manchester United wants to do business around the £60 million mark. Now, good player, very good player, but that's a lot of money. And as we revealed yesterday, he's not looking to leave Old Trafford, but is aware he would be sold for the right price and the right conditions.
What do you think, David? Are you surprised that United are even contemplating letting someone like Garnacho go?
Yeah, for me, he's still very young. He's got loads of potential, and he looks like a sort of Almiron-type player on the surface. Obviously, we never know what goes on behind closed doors, and he's got those qualities where he can play in his system, either down the sides as the wing-backs or the number 10. But with Quara, who's just gone to PSG, he looks like he could be a potential replacement for that. But I think Man United are quite right. They're not going to let him go cheap. He's a fantastic player.
Now, if he goes to Napoli, he could replace Kviza Kvaratskhelia, who you know well, of course. He's a Georgian. Is he of a comparable standard, Garnacho to Kvaratskhelia?
Yeah, similar. I mean, they're similar attacking qualities. They both like to dribble. Let's go 1v1. They can play on either side. Quara, as we call him in Georgia, can play up front as well. We would like to use him in the Georgian team, but I think he might do that with PSG. But I think Garnacho, in looking at Conte's system of a 4-3-3, he could be a good fit in there.
Did I get his name right?
That's why they call him Quara.
You did,
it's
yeah.
far easier to say.
We say that for short. It's either Quara or Quincha.
Oh, OK.
Yeah.
I might go with that.
Yeah.
Tell us about him. What was he like to coach?
Yeah, he's a fantastic player. He's obvious standout talents. He's great on the ball. He's very direct. For Napoli, I think they play him on the wing. We play him up front. Be interesting to see where he plays at PSG. Looking at where they are, especially with Koulibaly going now to Juventus, they might play him in that false 9 position. But I think when we have him in camp for the training camps, he's what you call like a top character. So when we do the training camps for national teams, you have to be really precise with your work, because you only get 3-4 days to work with the players before your game. And we can't get him off a training pitch at the end of games. He's one of those where he's got that top mentality. He always wants to learn. He always wants to get better. He's got that drive and determination. So, yeah, he's a phenomenal player, and he's a fantastic character as well.
Mike, this is the domino effect we see every transfer window, isn't it? Koulibaly goes to Juventus, Kvaratskhelia goes to Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah.
Now Napoli are trying to replace him. And the later you do it in January, the more difficult it gets. And the club that you're trying to buy a player from is like, oh, you're desperate, are you? Well, we might just ramp up the price a little bit more.
Exactly. On that note, let's talk about incomings from Manchester United. Linked with Patrick Dorgu. How easy is it going to be for them to get him, though, Jamie?
Well, we've just mentioned Napoli, and Napoli are trying to sign Patrick Dorgu, but they're prepared to sign him and then loan him back to Lecce for the rest of the season. So obviously, if you're in Lecce's shoes, that is obviously very tempting indeed. We understand Sky Italy are telling us that an agreement is close to being made between these two clubs, but if Manchester United were to offer around £34 million, €40 million, that could change the dynamic. So I think the ball very much in Manchester United's court. Yep, if you want him, stump up the cash.
OK, so he could come in. United could show Antony the door. Is that right, Michael?
That is right, Mike. It's a move for Antony to Real Betis on loan, close to completion. Now, I'm sure a lot of Manchester United fans watching us now will probably think that's best for all parties. But let's remember, 85 million, the whole package of that transfer from Ajax around the summer of 22. But these are the key figures here, Mike. A verbal agreement exists with no option or obligation included in the deal. Formal formalities are being sorted before he took a medical. Here's the key for me. His contract is up, yes, in 2027, but it does include a club-held option of a further year. Many of these deals, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but a lot of these deals, a player goes on loan but signs a deal with his club. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to happen here, because this was a big transfer.
Yeah.
But
for the price tag, one of the Premier League all-time flops, you have to say. It just has not worked out at all.
Not at all. So on that note then, David, is it time for Antony to move on?
Yeah, I think so. I think he needs a needs a fresh challenge. He hasn't had much game time. It hasn't probably worked out as what he would have liked at Man United. So I think a move away is probably the right move for him.
From a coaching
Marcus
perspective, how
Rashford's
difficult
future
is it
at
for a
Manchester
club? Because
United has
obviously
seemingly taken
he came
another
in
big twist
for
following
Eric Ten
reports
Hag,
that emerged
worked
on
with him
Tuesday
before.
evening
Ten
concerning
Hag's
his
gone, and
preferred
all
switch
these
to
players who
Catalan
don't
giants
suit
Barcelona.
Amorim's system. So how
The England
hard is
revealed
it
last
for the
year
club
that
to
he
go,
wanted
right,
out
we've
of
got to
Old
ship all
Trafford
of
after
those
it became
out
clear
and get
that he
a
would
whole
not
set
be
in,
able
and
to
then
fit into Ruben
and play a
Amorim's
different
3-4-2-1 formation,
Yeah, it's
with
very
his first
difficult
choice
when you
destination
change
always known
managers
to
at
be a
this point
switch
of
to the Camp
of
Nou.
the season as well, and also
Rashford has been on the
changing
radar
tactical
of a
systems,
number
you're
of
changing
top
the
clubs
coach,
since
got
his
different
revelation,
ideas.
with the
He said
likes of
Ruben likes
Milan
to
and
play more of a
Borussia Dortmund known
3-4-3.
to be keen on the
Antony's more of
27-year-old
an
forward.
orthodox winger that probably don't fit
However,
into that
it had
system.
looked like a stunning U-turn
So
could be on the cards over Rashford
automatically
staying
he's not
at
gonna
Man
play.
United, according to a
But
report
then
that
you've got
emerged
the
earlier on
factor of
Tuesday,
that he
only
did
for
cost
this
a lot of
latest
money.
rumour to
He's
suggest
probably on big
otherwise.
wages, and
It's now claimed
rather
that
than him
Barcelona
sort of
have
sitting
made a
there,
concrete
then
move
the
to
club
bring the
are gonna
Red
look
Devils
like
star to
recoup
La
something
Liga.
back.
That's according
Whether
to
that be
Spanish
January or
publication
in the summer,
Sport.
because January's very
They state
difficult
that
window,
Barcelona sporting director
I
Deco
think-
met
I
with
think in these
Rashford's team to
situations when you
discuss
get
a
manager
potential
that
transfer
changes,
prior to his
you
side's
can't
Champions League
change
clash
everything
with
all at once.
Benfica
You
in
have to work
Lisbon.
with what you've got and then see if
Two
you can
reasons
get
have
some of the
also
ones out in
emerged why
January and
Barca
then
are keen to get a
try and-
deal
it's
done
more
as
about
soon
summer,
as
really.
possible.
Okay.
Sport adds that the Catalan outfit are fearful that Dortmund could still swoop in and land the United forward, having already shown significant interest in the player.
Representatives met
Barcelona
with Barca
also want to
executives
advance with
in
Rashford
Lisbon
in order to get
today.
both
That's
Ansu
ahead of
Fati and
Barcelona
Eric
taking on
Garcia off the
Benfica.
books,
So
which
they're
they
in
would need
Lisbon,
to do
obviously,
anyway to create
Barcelona.
room with their
They
salary
met
cap.
Marcus Rashford's
Ansu
representatives
Fati has
and the
only
Barca
started one
execs.
game all
This is
season,
no
and
different
his
to
route
what
to
we've
the
been
first
reporting.
team looks
Barca remains
difficult,
Marcus
with Tottenham
Rashford's
known to have
preferred
inquired about
destination.
signing the
As we
former
said, the
Brighton
club would have to
loanee.
then be sort of creative
However,
and
the
create some salary
22-year-old is keen
space.
to stay with the
Potential departures
Blaugrana and
of
fight
Ansu
for his
Fati
place,
and
which could
Eric
prevent a
Garcia
major
would help
obstacle
with
to
that.
Barcelona's
Barca
hopes
yet
of signing
to make
Rashford
a
if they are
forward Borussia
unable to
Dortmund foot on
offload
the
him.
table as well, but they have now met at least the two parties.